In today's video, every single Space Marine Legion from Warhammer 40k is going to be fighting versus every single Clone Trooper Army Legion from Star Wars: The Clone Wars. But not only that, they are also going to have peripheral fighters, such as 200,000 Jedi Knights fighting alongside the clones and 500,000 Death Korps Shovel Knights. There will also be tanks on the battlefield, such as the ATTEs for the Clone Trooper Army, and likewise tanks for the Warhammer 40k Army. There are 2.5 million soldiers on each side. If you guys enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe with notifications turned on, and let's see if the Clone Trooper Army wins or the Space Marine Army wins. What's up, gamers? I'm here to tell you about Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is an amazing place where you can get some fire deals on all sorts of video games. Seriously, it's like 60 to 95% off, as you can see here. These are all of the Star Wars titles they have. They literally have every Star Wars title. You can also get XCOM here, Men of War Assault Squad 2. All of the games I play on the channel you can buy here for extremely cheap prices. If you use my affiliate link in the description, it helps me out a ton. So thank you guys for listening to this sponsorship, and thank you to Instant Gaming for continuing to sponsor the channel. Alrighty then, gamers, let's go ahead and press start right here and start things off in slow-mo, because as you can see, we have a very destructive battlefield with two of the strongest armies in sci-fi history going at each other. So we're gonna need to see all the details as a huge chunk of 501st Legion ends up getting devoured by Soul Drinkers over here of the Space Marine Legion. Soul Drinkers also taking some losses, though, right off the rip here. A number of them going down to just intense laser fire from the Star Wars units over this way. Absolute brutality. Next to the Soul Drinkers over here, we should have some of the Black Templar Knights. Yes, indeed. And these guys have chain swords, so they have to get real close in order to do combat against the legions over here of Clone Troopers. One thing you will notice in this battle, and it's true for pretty much all of the Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2, Star Wars, and Warhammer mods, is that the Star Wars legions have insane range on their weapons. They can fire out from super far away and kill units. They have incredible range. Meanwhile, the Warhammer units have a lot lesser range for almost all of their units. Ooh, a little bit of lag there. And that includes their shovel units here going up against some lightsaber-wielding Jedi. The Death Korps is going to have a tough time over here. But the Warhammer units have much better health, much better armor, and much more damage that they can deal with their weapons. So you saw at the beginning the number of 501st Legion soldiers killed by Soul Drinkers. Well, that's because the Soul Drinkers have better actual damage that they do and more armor to them and more health than the 501st, so they were able to kill more of them. However, what we're seeing on the battlefield now is that the Star Wars units are able to fire almost all of their weapons at the same time because they have such high range. Meanwhile, the Warhammer 40k Space Marine Legion still coming in have way less range. So we do have those Black Templar Knights. Over here we have the Legion of the Damned coming in. Very cool. Over this way we have the Salamanders, my personal favorite Space Marine Legion. Up this way we should have, I think these are the Blood Angels. Yes, okay, we got Blood Angels coming in behind the Soul Drinkers as well. And you can just see over here the number of Soul Drinkers firing compared to the number of 501st Legion troopers firing is way different. So they do kind of balance each other out that way, in that the Star Wars units can fire way more at greater distance, but the Warhammer units are going to deal more damage when they can fire. So early on in the battle, right now, the Warhammer units are doing pretty poorly. They only have 24,000 kills compared to the Clone Trooper Legions, which have 171,000 kills. A staunch difference right there in the number of kills. But as the battle goes on, I think the Warhammer units will have a lot more longevity. Also over here we can see the ATTEs providing some cover fire here and firing HE shells out against the Warhammer units, and they are going deep. Look at this! Wow! Okay, those just missed, but a few shots did end up landing over here. And I believe these yellow guys with the shields and swords are the Iron Hand, I want to say? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, because I often am wrong when it comes to Warhammer. I'm still a noob at Warhammer as a whole, but I'm trying to learn, and when you guys correct me, I learn more. So thank you guys for letting me know. Either way, all the way through the city here, we should have some Imperial Acadian Guardsmen on the battlefield as well. And yes, there are some over this way supporting the Warhammer Space Marine Legions. And then over this way, we've got the 21st Nova Corps, aka the Star Wars Galactic Marines. Now, these guys are some of the most hardened units in Star Wars history. We'll go into normal speed here. They are, you know, taking on some of the hardest climates in Star Wars, such as Megiddo. Not to mention, Commander Bakara was a real hard ass. I mean, he did some horrible, horrible things, horrible war crimes, and was a huge jerk to most of his troopers. So there's that too. These guys are elite troopers. There's a reason they are the Galactic Marines, and they are right now taking on a whole bunch of Death Corps troopers, as well as a whole bunch of Imperial Guardsmen over here. Oh! A little bit of lag. Okay, we're good. We're good. No crash. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Let's head over this way now and check out some more of the Star Wars Legion. So we have some of the 332nd Troopers coming in. Ahsoka's boys, who we wish they got more screen time, but, you know, Order 66. Phase 2 Shinies are back this way as well. Over here we should have, I think the 212th? Yeah, 212th Attack Battalion. Not technically a Legion, but they're part of the 7th Sky Corps, and my personal favorite Clone Trooper armor. They just look so good in the orange. And then up here, yeah, 41st Elite Corps armor, so Commander Gree's boys up here, and, of course, of Kashyyyk Trooper fame, if you guys watch episode 3, which I'm sure you have if you're watching this video. But yeah, right now, Star Wars units nailing the Warhammer units. 68,000 kills for the Warhammer units, 442,000 kills for the Star Wars units. That is a crazy discrepancy. Let's go back into normal speed here as we watch just the overhead fire, and the Star Wars units are getting so much fire out there. It's incredible. But I think what will happen is as more of the Warhammer units get closer and closer, they'll start getting more kills. Look at that. They're already at 110,000 kills. Their kills are going up exponentially. Also, I think these might be the Ultramarines over here. Yeah, once the Ultramarines hit the battlefield, it's gonna be rough. And yes, sir, we've got the Ultramarines on the battlefield this way, spamming fire into the Jedi over here, and they do have explosive rounds. There's not a crazy number of Ultramarines on the battlefield. There are about 30,000, I believe, which is the smallest number of any unit on the battlefield. But as you can see, they're absolutely devastating. I'm not even sure if that many Ultramarines exist in the Warhammer universe as a whole, but it is fun to see. We've also got some of the Warhammer 40k tanks up and about over this way. They should be doing some explosive fire as well, although a number of them are going down due to incoming clone trooper fire as the 332nd Legion gets nice and close, backing up some of the Jedi forward here. They're firing away, although taking some pretty extreme losses as they go. ATTEs all seem to be down on the battlefield now. Rip to the boys. Walker Legends. I love ATTEs, man. And it looks like, yes, the Jedi are mostly defeated. Some of the Iron Hands still coming in over this way to combat more of the Jedi over here. And the Jedi are just getting melted like butter. These guys are coming in and absolutely destroying the Jedi while under constant fire. I guess the Ultramarines are supporting the Iron Hand quite a bit. As you can see, there's a lot of explosive fire coming in as well. So yeah, pretty crushing blows for the Jedi over here. Ooh, a little bit of a lag spike there as well. It's kind of bound to happen with the amount of fire on the battlefield right now. But yeah, the Jedi are going extinct on this here battlefield at this point in time. Warhammer units up to 480,000 kills now. Star Wars units up to 826,000. So as you can see, the Star Wars units are starting to take more and more losses and are having more and more trouble killing the Warhammer units. 501st Legion still constantly firing into some of the Black Templar Knights over here, so they're getting a lot of kills over this way. The Soul Drinkers might be joined by the Salamanders and Blood Angels now. Let's see. No, not yet. They must be still further back, but they are getting more fire off now as the 501st Legion seems to be losing more and more troopers due to their impressive fire that the Soul Drinkers are able to field on this here battlefield. So lots of 501st troopers going down. The 41st Elite Corps back there should be backing them up pretty soon, and the 212 Legion should be coming in more over this way too. And you can see, yeah, there's just fields of clone troopers over this way. Oh, lots of 501st still alive. Very nice. Yeah, actually mainly 501st and 41st over here. Maybe the 212th are the ones up this way? Let's check it out. You can see pretty quick. Yeah, these are the 212th boys over this way. Supporting the flank over here where the Soul Drinkers are continuing to just pour in fire. Still a number of Soul Drinkers going down because, again, the Star Wars units have incredible range, so what they lack in damage and health, they can make up for in terms of range for sure. But so far, I mean, fairly even battle. Warhammer units making quite the comeback. 750,000 dead Star Wars units on the battlefield. 953,000 dead Warhammer units on the battlefield. So Star Wars still technically winning at this point in time, but the comeback is real, and that is for sure. The Ultramarines over here, though, are definitely the boys they gotta look out for. Look at the amount of fire coming in to these 501st troopers over here. Absolutely devastating amounts of fire over this way. Are they doing damage, though? Oh yeah, they are. They are. More on the front lines, though. Some of these shots that are exploding back here don't really seem to be damaging the troopers, but on the front lines where the direct hits are getting shot, yeah, that's doing some serious damage. The Iron Hand plus Ultramarine fire combo is devastating. Look at these guys coming in. Wow. That would be a pretty terrifying sight to see. A soldier 4 times your size with a massive shield and sword charging at you while explosive rounds are exploding all over the place. That's not something I would really want to be a part of, but the 501st is actually doing a nice job of holding the line here and continuing to get a lot of kills on these yellow boys. Look at that. That is pretty impressive. Let's go back over here and see how the Cadian Guardsmen and 21st Nova Corps are doing. I've been kind of staying away from this area of the battlefield because I think the city makes it laggy, and yes, we have a lag spike right there. But let's see. Okay, these are a lot of 332nd and Shiny Phase 2 clone troopers. And it looks like they're firing at a number of the Iron Hand coming through the city streets as well over here. This will be a nice little choke point area, but it's also an area where the Iron Hand can definitely close in on the clone troopers and sort of outflank them, outmaneuver them, etc., etc. These shiny clone troopers are not shiny anymore. In fact, they're looking a bit more like the 65th Coruscant Guard now, who is a Legion in the Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2 mod. For some reason, I couldn't find them. It's a weird glitch where some units sometimes disappear when I load up Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2. I don't know why it happens to my computer, but it does. So wasn't able to find the 65th Coruscant Guard, but I suppose these shiny clone troopers are now members of it as they are coated in red. Let's call it paint. Yes, sir. YouTube, it is paint. It is for sure paint. But we do have the Galactic Marines supporting them over here as well. Galactic Marines, such a tough Legion, so they are doing a nice job in this city street area over here. But here comes some more Ultramarines pushing through and taking advantage of these tight corridors to get explosive rounds out at the Clone Trooper Legions over this way. Oh, this is a crazy battle. As you can see, so much firing still happening across the entire city. Warhammer units taking over some blocks, Star Wars units taking over other blocks, and then, of course, in the suburbs of the city over here is where just so much more action is happening in terms of the bulk number of troopers over here fighting away. Absolute brutality. We've got 150,000, or sorry, 1.5 million, very different number, dead Star Wars units. 1.18 million dead Warhammer units. So the Warhammer units take the lead finally after being at a deficit for so long. Let's watch a little bit of a time lapse here as this action continues. Alright boys, the battle continues to rage on, and the Star Wars units definitely taking additional losses at this point. I think it might be somewhat Jover for them. I don't know if they can recover from this deficit, especially since, you know, they don't have any like real tricks up their sleeve anymore. All of their best units are on the battlefield. Their ATTEs are gone, and You know, they're not doing too hot right now. That is for sure. Those ultramarines are devastating them. Look at that. Yeah, Warhammer, man, is the most overpowered franchise in all of fantasy and sci-fi. Like, it's so true. They are so OP. I guess in the future, when all that exists is war, you know, you get pretty good at that war. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're pretty baller. You're balling out in terms of war. The 212th over here, slowly getting closed in on. Pretty terrifying sight to see, that's for sure. And I think in the city itself, yeah, the outskirts immediately right here have been fully taken over by Warhammer units. Looks like they're starting to encircle the Galactic Marines over this way. Yeah, they're encircling the city completely here. Shiny Clone Troopers and 332nd Troopers over here having a real tough time with it. That's not very good. And in the city itself, yeah, these clones are just being, like, prosecuted now. Hunted down and slaughtered. It's probably all in good fun for the Warhammer units. They saw their Imperial Guardsmen and Death Corps troopers die, and they were like, well, whatever, let's go have some fun and start fighting now ourselves. Time for us to, like, booyah this and just destroy these boys. Show them what for. At least the Galactic Marines are getting, like, a couple more kills here and there, but, like, they're just getting overwhelmed, man. They're just getting completely overwhelmed. Holy cow. And the Jedi are just long gone. The Star Wars melee units did not last long, that's to say the least. Yeah, I think it's pretty much Jover here. The Ultramarines, man, coming through and just dominating the battlefield. Did we even get to see, like, the Blood Angels and the Salamanders get involved in the combat? Like, are they even present? There's the Legion of the Damned. We also really haven't seen much of them. Yeah, they use, like, electrocution method to kill enemies in this mod, so I have not seen any electrical firing yet, so I don't even think they've made it to the front lines, really. Here's the Salamanders. They are getting some fire in. They are getting a few kills. They're joining the fray a little bit. And there are the Blood Angels. They're getting some fire in, too. So at the very end of the battle, they're getting some shots in. There are 2 million kills for the Space Marines, 1.28 million kills for the Star Wars units. Why don't we go ahead and run a little time-lapse here of the ending, and then I want to see if the Star Wars units can do this with only half of the Warhammer units on the battlefield. So let's see the ending here. Alright, boys, there are 1,700 Star Wars units remaining and 832,000 Warhammer units remaining. So even though Star Wars dominated for the first half of the battle, the second half, they got completely swept. I don't even know where the last remaining units are. There's no fire on the battlefield. Oh, they're all the way over here? What are they doing over here? Okay, that's weird. There's some random Nova Corps troopers still alive over this way, coming in and getting obliterated by incoming fire. It's not even like the Star Wars units are weak. I mean, the Nova Corps has 3,750 health. It's just that, you know, the Warhammer units are way better. Like, Ultramarine, 8,000 health. Cadian Guardsmen, only 400 health. So these guys, Cadian Guardsmen are way weaker, but the Space Marines are better than your average clone troopers. So let's go ahead and restart this battle with half of the Warhammer units they had last time and just see what happens. Alright, boys, we now have half of the Warhammer units, but the same number of Star Wars units. Let's see if they can dominate the battlefield now, potentially, or if they will suffer the same fate. I mean, obviously, Warhammer is not going to just, like, get swept immediately. This might be, you know, still a pretty difficult battle for them. I mean, right now, once again, Star Wars units starting off so much better, and I think it is because they have that improved range. So Warhammer units with 15,000 kills, Star Wars units with 100,000 kills. Yeah, Star Wars units way better off the jump. It's that longevity that the Star Wars units definitely have a lot more trouble with. They cannot keep things up for too long before they end up going down, you know? Like, the Jedi over here are great until the Ultramarines come in. And, you know, the 501st Legion is dominating the Soul Drinkers until, you know, the Soul Drinkers get more soldiers forward and start getting a whole lot more kills. That is the main problem there. I mean, look at this. The Black Templar Knights aren't even getting close enough to use their chainswords yet, but eventually they do start getting close enough and they start getting kills. So right now, 300,000 just under dead Warhammer units and 45,000 dead Star Wars units. Once again, we have that huge differential between the two armies, with the Star Wars units doing so much better out the gate and the Warhammer units doing so much worse. But there we go, the Warhammer units start hitting the NAS on their kills, and it's, I think, because the ultramarines over here start shooting. So there's only 20,000 ultramarines, I think, now on the battlefield. Really not too many. Might be 15,000, I can't remember exactly. But still, they are a very, very overwhelming force, and they do have good range, mind you. They're one of the only Warhammer units that does have actual good range on their weapons, so they're clearly able to get some stuff done. 430,000 dead Warhammer units, 200,000 dead Star Wars units at this juncture in the battle. Let's go ahead and time-lapse a little bit here and just see what happens throughout this battlefield. Star Wars units are holding on to their lead a lot better this time around, I will say. The Warhammer units have 400,000 kills, the Star Wars units have 550,000 kills, and so with the lessening of the number of Warhammer units overall, the Star Wars units are, I don't want to say thriving, but they're doing substantially better than before. So that's quite a good thing. 1.6 million Star Wars units left alive, 446,000 Warhammer units left alive. The ATTEs got completely destroyed yet again, but I think also the Warhammer tanks are dead as well. Star Wars units getting backed up here pretty good, but I mean, they just have waves of fire going in, and so I think they're doing better this time because they're just overwhelming with the amount of fire they've got. Up here, though, these Warhammer units are getting a lot of shots off. Yeah, we got some Blood Angels and Salamanders over here, and they're coming in. They are taking losses, but at the very least, they are getting forward and getting more shots off now versus last time when they were a little bit late to the party. And the Soul Drinkers up here still alive and firing at the Star Wars Clone Trooper Legions over this way. But yeah, you can see on the left, all of the white on the battlefield is pretty much the Clone Trooper armor. And then on the right, all of the black dots are the Space Marines and stuff like that. And the Star Wars units just have so many more units now. They're getting a lot more fire out, but the Warhammer fire, yet again, is just a lot more powerful, is the problem. So, 780,000 dead Star Wars units now, 611,000 dead Warhammer units. So, Warhammer did overcome in terms of number of kills. However, there is only 390,000 Warhammer units left alive, 1.2 million Star Wars units left alive. They're getting closer to potentially winning, the Star Wars units, that is. So, let's time-lapse again. This is still a really close race, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie. Warhammer units continuing to clutch it up pretty nicely here. Legion of the Damned getting absolutely destroyed, though. Look at this. They're barely able to step forward. But the Warhammer units still have 270,000 troopers left alive. Star Wars units only have 370,000, so they're only leading by a little bit in terms of units, and once the Star Wars units end up running out of troopers, I think they're going to go down. I don't see them being able to make a comeback from negative numbers compared to the Warhammer units, so I have a very bad feeling about the rest of this battle for the Star Wars units here. I think this could end up being a fat L for them, to say the very least. Yeah, they're about to be neck and neck at 250,000 troopers apiece, and there we go. Warhammer units pass the Star Wars units in terms of numbers. I think that bodes very, very poorly for the Star Wars units, and they could be looking at another loss, but let's run it and see what happens at the end. And Warhammer units are about to get another W on the battlefield with 43,000 Star Wars units left alive across these hills and still 225,000 Warhammer units left alive. So that's 2-0 Warhammer in the lead, but I think we're going to half the units again for Warhammer. So it'll be a quarter of their starting units that they had originally, and we'll see if they manage to do something with those numbers. You know, it's gonna be rough for sure for them, but I don't know. Never count Warhammer out at this point because they are just dominating the battlefield left and right. Either way, let's cue that up because this is a lost cause for Star Wars. Okay, I really trimmed the Warhammer units a lot, honestly. 350,000 of them on the battlefield. That's it. That's it. That's all they get. And we'll see if they manage to get the W this time. I don't know. I never underestimate Warhammer at this point because they are so powerful. They can just dominate battlefields left and right, no problemo, get kills. I am threatened by them for my Star Wars boys. On behalf of my Star Wars boys, I am officially threatened by Warhammer quite a bit. Alright, let's just time-lapse though because we got a long battle. Oh, no, wait! Legion of the Damned is finally fighting. Look at that, they finally got close enough on the 4th battle to some Jedi to get some kills. Nice. Good job, buddies. Good job. Way to go. They're actually pretty powerful, but they're not ranged really. They're like semi-ranged because of the lightning, but it doesn't go that far, so just don't really know at this point. Either way, let's go ahead and time-lapse one more time. Okay, quick check-in, and we have 260,000 dead Star Wars units, 325,000 dead Warhammer units. So I think the reason the Warhammer units are technically doing better at the start this time is because they have less cannon fodder to lose, and more of their elite units will be like immediately available on the battlefield. But still, you know, they're weaker. 130,000 Warhammer units remaining, 1.7 million Star Wars units remaining. Okay, 45,000 Warhammer units remain, 1.2 million Star Wars units remain, so the Warhammer units are still getting crazy amounts of kills, but Star Wars units still outnumber them by so much. I think that Star Wars units are going to win this one. I still can't tell. I genuinely still can't tell just based on how powerful Warhammer has been this entire time, so it's anyone's guess. Oh yeah, Warhammer units, only 14,000 soldiers remaining. Star Wars units, 730,000. So even still, Warhammer units with 1.3 million Star Wars kills. What? Oh my god. Also, I think I got the numbers for Warhammer wrong in the beginning, because Star Wars units have almost 500,000 kills. So, yeah, I got the numbers wrong. But that's fine. It's fine. Oh my god. This is absolutely ridiculous of a battle. Whew. Let's just let it run till the end now, but wow, what a saga. Wow, it's been another 5 minutes, and there's still 13,000 of these guys left alive. They do not go down without a fight. I think one of the problems is there's knockback on some of the Star Wars weapons, so they just end up rolling backwards and then coming back, which is kind of funny, to say the least, but I think it is a definite Star Wars victory, but we'll let them fight it out. And there we have it. Only 600 remaining Warhammer units, so basically the Star Wars units are just hunting them and shooting them. Winning by quite a bit. 666,000 Star Wars units left alive. Oh, scary number. Crazy that the Warhammer units still got 1.4 million kills on the Star Wars units. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.